and that's where we're going to put the new ones. I just usually do this. Now I'm going to open up, I have Photoshop CS5. It might work in other ones, I don't really know. I use this one. Basically, if you have a video you need to edit in Photoshop, click open and then select the file, but we're just going to import because you can basically do that too. You're going to go import video frames into layers, and I'm in a different folder. There we go. This is our first video, not that one, this one. And you can see, play it. That's the video we just made. You can select a range, which is good if you didn't trim it, but we just trimmed it. Limit it to every 2 frames. Honestly, it's worth it. Almost every other frame is going to be the same as the one before it, and that honestly just gives you less work you have to deal with, and it's less information your computer has to deal with. Make sure make frame animation is checked. Click OK. And now you'll get all these. If the bottom panel, which is down here, where it says animation frames doesn't show up, click window and make sure, I'm pretty sure it's animations is showing. Possibly. Yeah. Make sure animation is selected. It wasn't for me when I first did it, so that's all I'm saying why. And these are all frames. Basically that's how a video works, if you weren't aware. And what we're going to do is we're going to take out what wasn't in there. So click on this first frame and hold down, if you're on Mac, I guess it's everywhere else, click shift, hold down shift, and then click this last frame, and then click this little trash can down here, delete the frames. Yes, it will keep the frames on this side. I don't think it really matters if you keep them over here, but honestly, if you're editing it massively, might be good to just get rid of them on that side. They don't exist in the project anymore. You can see, that's the beginning now. This is the end, one little frame. Just delete that. There you go. Now I have 19 frames, which I'm going to show you. If you go to File, Save for Web and Devices, you're going to see how big the file size is if it loads. See, it's a massive file. It's only 19 frames. It's 1.6 megabytes, which is way too much. That's about 3 GIFs plus worth of data that's allowed on Tumblr. If you want to make a GIF for another website, it's a lot easier, but GIFs for Tumblr, they have to be 500 kilobytes or under, or they won't play at all. They'll freeze at the first frame, and I found that out the hard way for a long time. It's really, really difficult. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out the frames that we don't need. This video, we're going to go from the first frame to second frame. There's really not much movement going on here, so we'll just delete the second frame. Now from the first to this frame, there is some movement. So this one to this one, there isn't that much going on, so just delete that. You always go back. Like I said, they're still going to be on this side, but if they're not on the bottom here, it's fine. Massive movement. And we don't need that. You basically want to get rid of as many frames as you can. Fortunately, it's not necessarily that beginning part had a lot of movement really quick. So we might have to make up for that back here. And you can see we took out a lot of the frames, but it still basically runs right. And it looks for the most part still fine, but you probably brought down a lot of data out of it. You still have too many, but we're almost under a megabyte, so we still have about half of this GIF we need to get rid of. You can either just take out parts of the image. Unfortunately, this image has a lot of movement in it, so we aren't going to be able to do that easily. And honestly, I don't really want to go and do that. Another good thing I've found is making it smaller works a lot. Go to image size, 500, basically fine. And this will automatically, if these are still locked, it will make the height the same way. It will bring it to 500. It looks kind of small, but you really don't need it that large. And basically this makes it so you can have more frames, and it works out great. Let's see how much it's worth now. About 700. We have to get rid of 200 more kilobytes of information for it to be able to work on Tumblr. So now, we still have tons of frames. You can go and figure out and swap around settings with color. Darker colors, I'm pretty sure, are more information. We might be able to lighten that up. It's honestly really, really dark. We're gonna have to do this. You get the top layer, which I don't even know if it's an actual layer, but we're gonna do that anyways. And then you go to, where is it? Brightness contrast, and turn up the brightness. Might not look good. Not sure. Might as well try. No, it looks horrible. So delete that. Never mind. But you can. Sometimes it does look better. Honestly, didn't really do much. So we'll just do this. This frame we don't need. It just shows him there, and it shows him there too. So that's one frame we got rid of. Don't think that was needed. Actually, keep that one, get rid of this one. No. We'll see now. Almost. You can now decide if you want to get rid of certain colors, which can bring down the file size, or delete one more frame. I'm going to just try to get rid of this color, because honestly it's not important to me at all. And it doesn't really mean anything to the GIF, so hold on, shift. These are basically the colors for this only. You click delete. And it should take out those colors for the most part. It'll make that part look like crap, but sometimes, especially if it's like they're in a forest and they're wearing, you know, they have no green in them whatsoever, but there's green all around them, you can take out the green and it will actually get rid of a lot of data. You gotta make sure you keep the important colors in there though. Might not work. No, not really. So, get rid of the reds. No, it's not worth it. Let's click cancel. We're gonna have to delete one more frame. This one probably. It should be good. Should be around 400 something. There you go, 479. That works. Now, would say for web devices, personally I find it that they don't go this fast. They look kind of fast right now, but they don't really go the same speed in browser. So I usually make them 2 seconds just because I'd rather have it slower. It looks kind of slow here now, but we're gonna see if that works. I don't think the time really changes the file size, which is good. See, it still is 479. We're good. You can change the different kind of modes. restrictive. I haven't really played around with them that much. I don't really find any of them to be conducive to a good GIF, other than adaptive, because they definitely take away from the value. This one tends to have the best quality, I'm pretty sure. Well, this game not so much, but you can click and see what yours will look like. I didn't necessarily try it before for a while. I didn't necessarily fiddle around with options, but you can always fiddle around with it and see if you're able to get it down. There's other ways to get it down. I just personally don't mess with them. You can preview, it's not worth it. I'm uploading it to Tumblr anyways. So click, well, I'm gonna stop it. Click save. And now what we're going to do, I'm gonna just basically save it as I have multiple GIFs, because I'm going to be making more of them later. So I'm going to name this 1. And don't save it in this folder, save it into the done folder. You can save it as whatever you want. I'm planning on making more than 1, so I'm going to click save. And it will save it to that folder. And as you can see, and over here, .gif, you don't have to type it in, it will make it for you.